The Philippines, a country made up of over 7,000 islands, has a long history of ocean trade, sharing cultures, and sadly, fighting. Way before Europeans arrived, many tribes and kingdoms lived on these islands. These groups created clever martial arts for protection and war, influenced by their surroundings and how they lived. It's hard to know exactly when these arts began, but we know they've been around for hundreds of years. These early fighting styles, known by different names across the islands, were important for survival. They were practical and worked well in close combat. Weapons were key, especially knives, swords, and daggers. They used blades because the materials were easy to find and worked well in thick jungles and tight spaces. These martial arts weren't just about fighting, they were part of Filipino culture. Training was often mixed with rituals, dances, and everyday life. This made sure the skills were passed down, keeping their history alive. Respect, discipline, and community were important values taught through training, building strong people and strong communities. When Ferdinand Magellan arrived in 1521, things changed a lot for the Philippines. It started a period of Spanish rule that greatly affected how Filipino martial arts developed. Even though the Spanish tried to control the people and their culture, the Filipinos' fighting spirit stayed strong. The old ways of fighting would change and adapt, finding ways to resist and keep their culture alive. When the Spanish took over the Philippines, many things changed. With better weapons and organized armies, they controlled most of the islands, but they never fully controlled the people. Filipinos fought back hard, often using the same martial arts the Spanish tried to stop. The Spanish were worried about how well Filipinos could fight, so they made rules to take away their weapons and stop them from practicing their martial arts. Showing martial arts in public was banned, and if you were caught practicing secretly, you were punished. This forced Filipino martial arts underground, where they were kept alive and practiced in secret. Training often happened in hidden places, away from the Spanish. Even with these rules, Filipino martial arts didn't just survive, they got stronger. They changed and adapted using disguise and tricks. Everyday tools like sticks, knives, and farm equipment became training tools, hiding what they were really doing. This cleverness let Filipinos keep their fighting skills while looking like they were following Spanish rules. The Spanish did change Filipino martial arts though. They brought their own sword fighting traditions, which changed Eskrima in small but important ways. Footwork, angles, and how they used blades became part of Filipino martial arts, mixing with the old ways to create something unique and powerful. The Spanish-American War in 1898 ended Spanish rule in the Philippines, but it also started a new time of foreign control. The Americans wanted to be in charge, but Filipino nationalists who had fought with the Americans against the Spanish fought back. This led to a brutal war called the Philippine-American War. During this difficult time, Filipinos kept practicing their martial arts in secret. Like the Spanish, the Americans didn't realize how effective these fighting styles were. Filipino fighters, good at guerrilla warfare and skilled with eskrima, were a big problem for the Americans. Stories of Filipino fighters disarming and beating many soldiers with guns became legendary. When Japan occupied the Philippines during World War II, things got even harder. Once again, Filipino martial arts were important in the resistance. Filipino guerrillas armed with bolos, knives, and hand-to-hand combat skills fought the Japanese and gave important information to the Allies. Filipino fighters were so good at close combat and fighting in the jungle that both their friends and enemies respected them. After World War II, the Philippines became independent and Filipino martial arts finally came out into the open. Now free to practice, different styles started to become well known in the Philippines and around the world. The word Eskrima, along with Arnis and Kali, became common names for these martial arts. After the war, martial arts became popular everywhere, partly because of martial arts movies. People saw the exciting and different fighting styles of Asia. Filipino martial arts, with their focus on weapons and practical fighting, started getting attention from martial artists and people who wanted to learn self-defense. Filipino masters started traveling, teaching their skills to eager students. This led to Eskrima schools and training centers in many countries, spreading the art far and wide. As more people saw how effective and versatile Eskrima was, it became even more popular. Eskrima, also called Arnis or Kali, isn't just one martial art. It's a group of similar styles. Each style is unique, but they all focus on using weapons, especially sticks and blades. Eskrima is different because you learn to use weapons right away. Instead of learning weapons later, Eskrima students start with sticks, usually made from rattan, a strong and flexible palm tree. This early weapons training helps you with coordination, timing, and judging distance, which are important for all Eskrima skills. Even though Eskrima is known for weapons, it also has lots of empty hand techniques. Punches, kicks, grappling, and joint locks are all part of it. These empty hand techniques aren't separate from the weapons training. They're like using the same movements without a weapon. Eskrima is smooth and adaptable, letting you switch between weapons and empty hands easily, making it great for self-defense. Eskrima is more than just fighting. It's deeply connected to Filipino culture and traditions. It represents respect, humility, discipline, and community, which are all very important in Filipino society. Training in Eskrima isn't just about fighting. It's about becoming a better person, building character, and keeping Filipino heritage alive. Respect is key in Eskrima. Students must respect their teachers, training partners, and the art itself. You show respect by following proper etiquette, paying attention during training, and being willing to learn from more experienced people. Humility is also important. Eskrima teaches you to control your ego and avoid fights you don't need. Discipline is another big part of Eskrima. Training takes dedication, hard work, and pushing yourself. Through tough practice, students get stronger physically and mentally, learning to overcome challenges and strive for excellence. The discipline you learn in Eskrima helps you in other parts of life too. Today, Eskrima is still going strong, both in the Philippines and around the world. It has changed and adapted to modern times, with new styles while keeping the core principles that make it so effective. Eskrima is used in many ways, from self-defense and fitness to police and military training. The worldwide Eskrima community shows how popular it is. People from all walks of life are drawn to its practical uses, versatility, and rich cultural history. International competitions and seminars bring people from different countries together, building friendships and sharing knowledge. The internet and social media have helped Eskrima grow even more. Online resources, videos, and online groups make it easier to learn about and connect with this dynamic martial art. This makes it easier for people everywhere to learn about Eskrima. If you want to learn Eskrima, there are many ways to start. Finding a good and qualified teacher is the most important thing. A good teacher will not only teach you the techniques, but also the important values and principles of the art. When choosing a school or training group, think about your goals. Some schools focus on competition, while others focus on self-defense or cultural traditions. Watch some classes, talk to teachers and students, and try different schools to find the right one for you. Eskrima is a journey of self-discovery and personal growth. It's challenging but rewarding and good for people of all ages and backgrounds. Whether you want to learn self-defense, get in shape, connect with Filipino culture, or challenge yourself, Eskrima is a great path to explore. Eskrima's journey from ancient battles in the Philippines to the modern world shows its unbreakable spirit. Through centuries of colonization, war, and cultural exchange, Eskrima has not only survived but thrived, changing and adapting while staying true to its roots. It shows how resilient people can be and how important it is to keep cultural traditions alive. As Eskrima continues to grow around the world, it carries the legacy of the Filipino people, their history and traditions. It represents their fighting spirit, their cleverness, and their strong commitment to their cultural identity. Eskrima is a symbol of hope, resilience, and the lasting power of tradition, in a world that's always changing.